One of the first things that I learned when I was learning how to do squats, and that I taught people early in my career as a coach when I was teaching people how to do squats, was keep your heels on the ground. That was this fundamental rule that as you were going down, people have a tendency, because they're limited in ankle flexibility, to come forward or bring their heels up. And we were always saying, no, heels down, sit back, keep your heel on the ground. And for lots of different types of squats, that is a really important thing to do. When I first saw Ben Patrick, the knees over toes guy on YouTube, do the ATG split squat, and he was telling people, let your heel come up so that your knee can get into full flexion. Have the heel come up off the ground. I thought, wow, that's really strange. That goes against one of the fundamental rules of squatting. Even for a lunge or a split squat, we would always tell people to keep your heel on the ground. But the more I thought about it and the more I listened to what he was saying, the more I understood the importance of having an exercise for the lower body that takes the knee and ankle into full range of motion. And the truth is, I can't be sure that my knee is fully flexed and that my ankle is fully dorsiflexed unless my heel is up a little bit off the ground, unless I have incredible ankle flexibility, which again, most people don't. Today we're going to show you how to learn to do this movement, this ATG split squat, a little bit easier version with the foot elevated. The elevated ATG split squat is the beginner progression of this exercise that's going to give us a chance to develop flexibility and strength through a full range of motion in the hip, knee, and ankle. What you'll need is a surface that is anywhere from 6 to 18 inches off the ground. Start higher if you're a little bit less flexible or just getting into this, and then if you find out that this is easy, you can always use a lower surface. I'm using this little deck chair we have. What I want to do is set up with one foot on top of the elevated surface and then the other foot back. You'll have to figure out for you how far back to put the other foot, but it's going to be determined by the bottom shape. So I'll show you that in just a second. I want to start with my knee straight on the front leg. And then I'm going to come forward, and really this movement happens by that front knee going forward. And I'm going to keep going forward and actually let this heel come up off the ground a little bit until my hamstring and calf are fully squished together. I want to use my glute on my back leg to keep this hip extended. So we're getting a lot going on here. Hip flexion on the front leg, hip extension on the back. Knee extension on the back leg, knee flexion on the front. And full ankle dorsiflexion on this front leg. And then I'm gonna press back, engage my quad to press out of the bottom. Benefits of this exercise are multiple. One, I'm working through full ankle dorsiflexion, full knee flexion, and then having to use my quadriceps, specifically this muscle on the inside of the quad, the vastus medialis oblique, or VMO, gets engaged when you get into full knee flexion. Also, I'm having to get out of this fully deep position, and I'm practicing. You can imagine this would be great if I could squat on my two-legged squat to this full hip flexion position, full knee flexion, full ankle dorsiflexion position. And then as your ankle flexibility improves, you'll be able to do this getting that full knee flexion while also keeping that front heel on the ground. Once you get the hang of this, we can work towards lower and lower surfaces. If this is hard for you, even with the foot up, find something. This chair happens to have the chair back that I can put my hand on. You can put a foam roller on top of the surface or anything else that allows you to just use that other upper extremity to assist a little bit with the strength. I'm just holding on with my back hand, as you can see there. As you get used to it, we'll lower the height of the surface until you're doing this on the ground. And again, we'll start with the heel coming up, and that's totally fine. Work until you have the requisite ankle flexibility to keep your heel down. Then we can add external load and progress from there. The ATG split squat is an incredible exercise for developing strength through a full range of motion in your lower extremities. Use this elevated version to introduce this movement and get used to it before you have to jump into the full depth on flat ground version of it. Leave a comment below, let me know how it goes, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.